Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. I hope you're all fine. This is Muhammad Imran. I welcome you all to my channel. And today we will discuss semantics as a branch of linguistics. In fact, there won't be a single lecture in the subject semantics. There will be several lectures in the subject semantics. So please keep watching. Let's discuss what is semantics. So what is semantics then? Semantics is the study of meaning in language. Thus, we know in semantics that how meanings are given to words. Or how do we know the meaning of words, phrases, and sentences? Semantic is the study of meaning of words, phrases, and sentences. In semantic analysis, there is always an attempt to focus on what the words conventionally mean rather than on what an individual speaker like George Carlin might want them to mean on a particular occasion. So here it talks about two types of meaning. One is conventional meaning. Here we have conventional meaning, and one is speaker meaning. So conventional meaning are different from speaker meaning. Conventional meaning of words are those mean which are given to words conventionally, and we can also call them literal meaning or dictionary meaning. On the other hand, speaker meaning are those meaning which are given to words by a speaker on a particular occasion or in a particular context. So semantic is usually concerned to study the meaning of words conventionally rather than to study the meaning of words given by a speaker on a particular occasion or in a particular context. So this technical approach is concerned with objective or general meaning and avoid trying to account for subjective or local meaning. Now, what does it mean? It means that semantic is concerned with objective or general meaning. So it means that conventional meaning or objective or general meaning. We can also call them dictionary meaning or literal meaning. Now, the speaker of a particular language knows that what are conventional meaning. For example, if I say that bank, so all the speaker of English know that what does a bank mean. So if I say a book, so not most, but all of the speaker of English language, they know that what does a book mean. So conventional meaning are then those meaning that upon which all the speaker of a language agree. They know that what does a book mean. Everybody knows what does a book mean. So such type of meaning then are called conventional meaning. On the other hand, we have speaker meaning, which are subjective or local meaning. Because speaker meaning are associative meaning. Because a speaker associates meaning to words. So thus, they are called in local meaning or subjective meaning. So semantic is not concerned with subjective or local meaning. Semantic is concerned with objective or general meaning, which are conventional meaning. So linguistic semantics deal with conventional meaning conveyed by the use of words, phrases, and sentences of a language. So then linguistic semantic deal with conventional meaning, and these conventional meaning are given to words, phrases, and sentences of a language, right? Conventionally, meaning to words, phrases, and sentences are given conventionally. Here we have two types of meaning. One is conceptual meaning, while another one is associative meaning. The meaning of words in a language is typically perceived conceptually rather than associatively. If we want to know the meaning of words, so meaning of words are usually perceived conceptually rather than associatively. Associatively, meaning are those meaning which are associated to words by a person or a particular group of people. So conceptual meaning are those essential component of meaning which are conveyed through the literal meaning of words. I told you that they are literal meaning of words. When we find the word needle as a thin, sharp steel instrument, such meaning of words are known as conceptual meaning in English. Because if you find out the meaning of word needle and you give it in dictionary, so you will find that in dictionary they'll be written as thin, sharp, steel instrument. Such meaning of words are known as conceptual meaning in English. Now, sometimes people might have different association or connotation with the words needle. They might attach it with a illness, pain, blood, drug, and thread or knitting or hard to find. So hard to find, knitting, thread, drug, blood, pain, illness, these all are associative meaning which are associated by people on a particular occasion. Because sometimes when they say that like a needle, so they mean illness, that you are ill, or they mean pain, or they mean blood, or they mean drug, or they mean thread, or they mean knitting, or they mean hard to find because it is hard to find a needle. So these all types of meaning are called in associative meaning, because you cannot find such meaning of the word needle in a dictionary. In a dictionary, you can find a thin, sharp steel instrument. You can't find the meaning of the word needle as illness, pain, blood, drug, etc. So these association with the word needle may be different for different people, because some people might associate pain to needle, while other people might associate hard to find with needle, while other people might associate illness with needle, while other people might associate blood with needle. So it differs people to people. Such meaning of words are not considered as conceptual meaning. Such meaning are called associated meaning or connotative meaning. So on the one hand, then we have denotative meaning, dictionary meaning, so conceptual meaning or denotative meaning, dictionary meaning, and associative meaning or then connotative meaning, or we can call them associated meaning. So associated or connotative meaning are same, and conceptual and denotative meaning are same. Associative meaning. Poet, novelists, advertisers, and lovers may be very interested in using words in such a way that certain associative meaning are evoked, and little critic often write about this aspect of language use. So most often we find that these associative meaning to words are given by a poet, by a writer, by advertisers, and by lovers. In a novel or in a poem or poetry, we see that most of the time the poets and the novelists, they associate meaning to words when they describe their beloved, or when they describe an incident what happened to them, or when they describe the beauty of their beloved. So they are using them then associative meaning to words rather than literal meaning, because they want to attract the reader and to give them something new. Now in this chapter, however, we will be more concerned with trying to describe what constitutes conceptual meaning rather than, so we will not talk more about associative meaning, but we will be concerned with conceptual meaning. Semantic features. Now, one obvious way in which the study of basic conceptual meaning might be helpful in the study of language would be as a means of accounting for the oddness we experience when we read sentences such as the following. Now, the hamburger ate the boy. Now, if you look at the sentence, the hamburger ate the boy. So we know the conceptual meaning of the hamburger, we know the conceptual meaning of the ate, and we know the conceptual meaning of the boy. If we didn't know the conceptual meaning of the hamburger, the ate, and the boy, perhaps we would call the sentence as an grammatically or semantically correct. We wouldn't call the sentence as an odd sentence. Now, right now, we call this sentence as an odd sentence. Why do we call it odd sentence? Because conceptually, we know that the hamburger doesn't have the capability to eat the boy, while the boy can eat a hamburger. So the boy has the capability to eat a hamburger, but a hamburger cannot eat a boy. How do we know? Because we know that what does mean by hamburger. Because hamburger is not like a living thing. It's not living thing, not animate entity. While the boy is like living thing. Right? So we know that a boy can eat while a hamburger cannot eat. So where do we know that hamburger cannot eat, or what is hamburger? We know conceptually the meaning of the word hamburger. Thus the sentence is an odd sentence. Now the table listens to the radio. Now this sentence and the previous ones are grammatically correct sentences. They are syntactically correct sentences, but they are semantically incorrect sentences. How they are semantically incorrect? Because we know that in order to eat, you need to be a human being or you need to be an animal, not a non-living thing, not living entity. Similarly, the table listens to the radio. So we know that what is a table. Conceptually, we know the meaning of a table. Conceptually, we know the meaning of a listen. And conceptually, we know the meaning of radio. If we didn't know the meaning of these words conceptually, perhaps the sentence wouldn't look to us odd. The sentence looked to us odd because that we know the conceptual meaning of these words. So this sentence is grammatically correct, syntactically correct, word order is correct, but the sentence is semantically incorrect because it is odd. Now, the horse is reading the newspaper. Again, the sentence is grammatically correct, syntactically correct, but semantically it is incorrect because we know that a horse can't read a newspaper. How do we know? Because we know that what does mean by horse? Horse is a living entity, but non-human. Horse is not human, and reading the newspaper is the capability of a human being, not of an animal. So that's why the sentence then looks to us odd, and this oddness is given to a sentence by the semantic like property. Now we can say that these all three sentences are grammatically correct, syntactically correct, but semantically they are odd or they are incorrect. And how do we know that they are semantically odd or semantically incorrect? Because we know the conceptual meaning of the words used in these sentences. Semantic oddness versus syntactic oddness. We should first note that the oddness of these sentences does not derive from their syntactic structure. According to the basic syntactic rules for forming English sentences, we have well-formed structures like noun phrase, verb, and noun phrase. So the hamburger ate the boy. The hamburger is a noun phrase, ate is a verb, and the boy again is a noun phrase. So the sentence is not odd because of the syntactic structure. Syntactically, the sentence is correct, but semantically it is incorrect, and semantically we know the oddness of a sentence through conceptual meaning, because conceptually we know that a hamburger cannot eat the boy. The hamburger ate the boy. So when we produce such kind of sentence, so where is the problem? Or what's the problem in this sentence? So let's see that where is the problem in the sentence, the hamburger ate the boy, or why the sentence seems odd to us. The sentence is syntactically good. So we know, because even if you write this sentence, so nobody can tell you that the word order of the sentence is incorrect. Nobody can tell you that there's morphologically disorder or the sentence is morphologically incorrect. So it means that the sentence is perfectly good syntactically and grammatically, but the sentence is semantically odd. But semantically odd, since the sentence "the boy ate the hamburger" would be a perfect one. When we say "the boy ate the hamburger," so everybody accept, or the sentence is acceptable. But when we say "the hamburger ate the boy," the sentence is then not acceptable. So it's perfectly acceptable. We may be able to identify the source of the problem. The component of the conceptual meaning of the noun hamburger must be significantly different from those of the noun boy. So we know that the meaning of the boy, the conceptual meaning of the boy, is different from the conceptual meaning of the hamburger. We know what does hamburger mean, and we know what does a boy mean. So thereby preventing one and not the other. It is because of these conceptual meaning which prevent us that which one we can use as a subject and which one we cannot use as a subject. And these are conceptual meaning which tell us that boy can go as a subject in this sentence because boy has the capability to eat, while the hamburger, which is not animate object, so it cannot go as a subject. From being used as the subject of the verb ate, the kind of noun that can be the subject of the verb ate must denote an entity that is capable of eating. So we must put a subject in this sentence which is capable of eating. So we know, if you look at the meaning of a boy in a dictionary, or if we know the conceptual meaning of the word boy, then we can put boy as a subject. And if we know the conceptual meaning of the word hamburger, so then we cannot put hamburger as a subject of the sentence here to say that the hamburger ate the boy. So of the verb ate, subject of the verb ate must denote an entity that is capable of eating. The noun hamburger does not have this property and the noun boy does. So conceptually we know that the boy has the capability to eat and the hamburger doesn't have this capability. So this is the importance of knowing conceptual meaning. And here the conceptual meaning identify and tell us whether the sentence is odd or it is perfect, whether the sentence is semantically correct or it is incorrect. Feature of meaning. Now, the problem "the hamburger ate the boy" can be solved through knowing the feature of meaning. We can make this observation more generally applicable by trying to determine the crucial element or feature of the meaning that any noun must have in order to be used as the subject of the verb ate. Because we cannot use any noun as the subject of the verb ate, we can use a noun that has the capability of eating. Such an element may be general as animate being, so it must be animate, because if there is ate, so for ate you can use such kind of subject which is animate. Animate mean living. We can then use this idea to describe part of the meaning of the word as having either plus. So what is having either plus? That if we put like animate, then we are putting plus, because animate plus mean that animate has the capability of eating, or minus that particular feature. So the feature that the noun boy has an plus animate and denote an animate being, and the feature that a noun hamburger has minus animate does not denote an animate being. So for hamburger we will put animate, and with animate we will put minus. Minus mean that a hamburger doesn't have the capability of eating. And if we put boy and then we put animate, so then we are putting plus there. Plus mean that the boy has the capability of eating. So through this we know the feature of meaning, whether the noun, the subject of the verb ate, has capability of eating or not. If it has capability of eating, we will put plus. And if it doesn't have the capability of eating, then we will put minus. Semantic features. In the previous slide, we discussed a sentence, the hamburger ate the boy, which was semantically odd sentence. So how this oddness in a sentence be identified or be solved? So this can be identified or solved through semantic features. Now, what is semantic features? Let's discuss it here. This simple example as an illustration of a procedure for analyzing meaning in terms of semantic features such as plus animate, minus animate, plus human, minus human, plus female, and minus female. If we take the example of a boy, so we can put plus animate in front of a boy, we can put plus human in front of a boy, and we can put then minus female in front of a boy. And if we take the example of a girl, so we will put plus animate, plus human, and we will put plus female. So through this procedure, we can differentiate the meaning of a boy from the meaning of a girl. Now let's take another example. On the one hand, we have the wall, and on the other hand, we have the man. So let's take first the example of the man. The man will be plus animate, plus human, and minus female. And the wall can be minus animate, it will be minus human, and it will be minus female. So through this procedure or through this way, through semantic features of meaning, we can differentiate the meaning of one word from another, and these semantic features enable us to put a subject of a sentence, appropriate subject of a sentence. For example, we have a verb, read. So for a read, we should put appropriate subject that has the capability of reading. Like for example, if we have a verb, eat, also for eat, we can put subject like human being or like animal. But animal and human both have the capability of eating. If we have example of read, so for the read is a verb. So for a read, we can put a subject that can read, that can have the capability of reading. Like for example, we cannot put animal as a subject. We will put human being as a subject. It can be boy or it can be girl. So like putting plus animate, minus animate, plus human, minus human, plus female, and plus minus female. These features, semantic features, enable us to differentiate the meaning of one word from another one. Otherwise, if we don't have these conventional meaning or if we don't have these semantic features, so we will be unable to identify a sentence semantically. Or then if somebody say that the table is reading a newspaper, so we can't justify, if we don't have conventional meaning of these words, so we can't justify whether the sentence is semantically odd or not. So how we know that the table is reading a newspaper is an odd sentence? Because we know that the table that is minus animate, right? It doesn't have plus animate, minus animate, and the table is minus human, and the table is minus female, right? So because of these features, we can identify whether this table is the table can be placed as the subject for the verb read or not. Now, for example, can be treated as the basic element involved in differentiating the meaning of each word in a language from every other word. If we had to provide the crucial distinguishing feature of the meaning of a set of English words such as a table, horse, boy, man, girl, woman, we could begin with the following diagram. Now we will justify and we will explain how the meaning of a table is different from the meaning of a horse, and how the meaning of a horse is different from the boy. Similarly, man, girl, and woman, how these different words give different meaning. Now here we have illustration of semantic features. In other words, here we will find out that how the meaning of one word is different from the meaning of another word through semantic features. So let's discuss this diagram. Here we have a few words. You can see here table, horse, boy, man, girl, and woman. How the meaning of a table is different from the meaning of a horse, and how the meaning of a boy is different from the meaning of a man, and how the meaning of a girl is different from the meaning of a woman. Similarly, how a meaning of a table is different from the meaning of a man, and how the meaning of a horse is different from the meaning of a girl. So you can see here, let's take for the first example, that is table. So table, animate minus, human minus, female minus, adult minus. If we take the table as the subject of the verb eat, and we say that the table is eating a hamburger, the sentence will look semantically odd or semantically incorrect. Why? Because the table doesn't have the capability of eating a hamburger. And how do we know it doesn't have capability? We know the meaning of a table conventionally, literally, or from dictionary. And then we know that the table is not animate, it is a non-animate object or non-animate creature. And we know the table is also not human being, and it's not also a female, or it is not also adult. Thus, we cannot use table as the subject of the verb eat. Then how can we differentiate the meaning of a table from the meaning of a horse? Look at the meaning of a horse, animate plus. So horse is a living creature. When we say animate, so living creature, that is plus, human, that is minus, female, that is minus, adult, that is plus. And if we use, for example, horse as a subject for the verb read, and we say the horse is reading a newspaper, again the sentence will look semantically odd or semantically incorrect, because in order to read you need to be a human being. You need not to be like an animal, because animal doesn't have capability of reading. So then the horse as a subject of the verb read, that would be not fit here, that would be unfit. And if we take the example of a boy, so animate, that is plus, human, that is plus, female, that is minus, adult, that is minus. Similarly, man, animate plus, human plus, female minus, and adult minus. Girl, animate plus, human plus, female plus, and adult minus. And woman, animate plus, human plus, female plus, and adult also plus. So through these semantic features of a word, you know that where or which word is suitable for the subject of the different verbs. Right? Like sometimes we can't say that Ali is eating grass. Now, Ali is a human being, Ali is a boy. So Ali is animate, of course, human, yes, female, not, adult, not. So eating grass is the capability of an animal, not a human being. So thus, if we say that Ali is eating grass, so this sentence will look semantically odd or semantically incorrect. How do we know that Ali cannot eat grass? Because conventionally and from the meaning of the word boy from dictionary, we know that Ali is a boy, and Ali is a human being, and Ali is adult, right? So in order to be adult, human being, and animate, so you cannot eat grass. Eating grass is the capability of a horse. So through these semantic features, you can know that which word is suitable to be used as the subject of a sentence or the subject of a particular verb. From a feature analysis like this, we can say that at least part of the meaning of a word girl in English involved the element plus human plus female minus adult. We can also characterize the feature that is crucially required in a noun in order for it to appear as a subject of particular verb, supplementing the syntactic analysis with semantic feature. The is reading the newspaper. So after the, we know that we should use such kind of word which has capability of reading. So we can say that the boy is reading the newspaper, the girl is reading the newspaper, or the child is reading a newspaper. So noun plus human. So here we can use human being for the verb reading, because reading is not the capability of like table, like horse, like flower, or like dog, or like donkey. So this approach would give us the ability to predict which noun make this sentence semantically odd. Some example would be table, horse, hamburger, because none of them have the required feature plus human being. So here you can see, when we say the dash is reading the newspaper, so here we cannot use like the hamburger, we cannot use like the horse, we cannot use like the table, because these all words don't have the capability of reading. So for the verb reading, which subject is suitable? That is noun, and it should be human being. So the noun should be human being. The noun should not be like non-animate object or like non-human like animal. So animal or like non-human like animal, or like other objects like the table, the wall, the watch, and we can say that the chair. So these all nouns don't have the capability to read. Problem with this approach of word meaning analysis. It means that there is also a problem when we analyze the meaning of a word through the approach of semantic features. So this approach just outlined is a start on analyzing the conceptual component of a word meaning, but it is not without problem. For many words in English, it may not be as easy to come up with the neat component of meaning. If you try to think of the component or feature we would use to differentiate the noun, advice, threat, and warning, for example, we may not be very successful. How we cannot be? Like, how can we differentiate the meaning of a word advice from a threat and warning, the table that was given in the last slide? Like, how do we know that whether advice is a human being or non-human being, whether advice is an animate or non-animate, how we know whether the advice is a male or female, right? And how do we know that the threat is an like a human being or non-human being, whether it is like a adult or not adult? So we cannot know the meaning of all words in through this semantic feature. Some of the meaning of words we can know through semantic features, but not at least all meaning of words through this approach, because there'll be problem. Because we cannot differentiate advice, threat, and warning through the approach of semantic features. So for example, we may not be very successful. Part of the problem seem to be that the approach involve a view of words in a language as some sort of container that carry meaning component. There's clearly more to the meaning of words than these basic type of features. So it means that there are also other approaches to analyze the meaning of a word. So these semantic features of analysis won't work for all words in English language. So we will discuss more approaches to word meaning analysis in coming lecture. So this was all about introduction to semantic, and we discussed what is semantic, we discussed that what is conceptual meaning, what is associative meaning, and we discuss semantic features, and then we discuss what is the problem with this approach, and we also discuss that how sometimes a sentence may be grammatically correct, syntactically correct, but it would be semantically odd or incorrect. So thank you so much for watching, and if you have any question, so you can put your question in comment box.